1 to 13. It is at the end of these two chapters when Jesus explains the signs of his return, wars and pestilences and such. We come now, verse 1, it says, and the kingdom of heaven is like unto. There was not 10 literal virgins. It was a picture. It was a parable, an illustrated story. Why? Because he did not want them to miss the profound depth and simplicity of the eternal truth. If he would have just shared it, there's a chance they miss it. So he paints a picture to them, as he would do many times, where symbols represent truths. They're called parables and proverbs in Scripture. He takes them now into a look of the kingdom, a panoramic view through his parabolic ministry. And he says that there was 10 virgins which took their lamps and went forth to meet a bridegroom. 5 was wise and 5 were foolish. It's interesting to me that 10 virgins, somebody say virgins. The indication is that they're all pure. They're all pure. Every indication in the passage was they're all pure. Remember that white garment without a spot, without a blemish? These 10 represent that. There's no change to that. Throughout verse 13, that is a testimony of all 10 of them. The problem was not the purity in their life. Again, I say to you, the problem was not sin. It was not the guy that on the field was sinning and that allowed the tares to come in. He was sleeping. These 10 virgins, the ones that ultimately have a problem. It is not because of sin. It is not because of whoremongering or drinking or some type of wicked idolatry in their life. It simply boils down to they slept and they stopped giving attention in the midst of the sleep, giving attention to what they needed to give attention to, the oil and the lamp. It says there was 5 wives and 5 foolish virgins, and they were waiting. It's a study for another time, but it's a long period in the Jewish build up to ultimately the consummation of the bride and the bridegroom. They were in that stage of waiting. Verse 3, Matthew 25, and it says, they that were foolish, the 5 foolish. Somebody say foolish. Somebody say foolish. The 5 foolish took their lamps, but they took no oil. Woo! Had everything they needed, Brother Leon, but they did not have the oil. They had the lamps. They were pure. Everything's white. Everything's clean. But they stopped checking the oil. They stopped checking the oil. Ha. I know preachers that can get into the pulpit and hum with the best of them. I mean, they can entertain a crowd and bring them through the charisma and the oratory skill to their feet and send them out of a church house on cloud 9. I know women with dresses dragging the ground. There's not a problem with what they have on in terms of outward presentation. But inwardly,